Hi, I'm Ali, and I'm a designer, product designer on the configure team. And I will be doing a UX scorecard on installing the GitLab agent for Kubernetes. And two personas, Priyanka, the platform engineer, and Ellison in application ops. You can read more about them in the issue. The job to be done is when I have a new version of my application, I want to deploy it into production following my preferred deployment strategy so that I can see my results. The scenario, Priyanka, the platform engineer, manages applications and infrastructure deployments using Kubernetes. So Priyanka needs a way to manage these multiple deployments across multiple projects using an agent. And what I'm going to do is, firstly, I'll create a GCP cluster in Google, a Google Cloud cluster, and connect the agent to the cluster, and then deploy and scale an application that I've been using to learn Kubernetes. Cool. So I'll start off with the documentation. So the first thing that I need to have is a cluster. So I'll go over to Google Cloud. So there is a way to do it using the Cloud Shell. I've done this before. But I want to check out the UI, doing it via UI. So the first thing I need to do is create a cluster. I already have a Google Cloud account set up, and I want just a standard cluster. Let me see what options they have for configuring. Cool. Let's see. I'm not sure which part of Europe is closest to us. No, I don't need to do that. Let's see. Notes. There you go. I just want one. Cool. And I'll name it Ali Cluster 2. Yeah, I'm ready to create my cluster. So it takes a bit of time, I think about 5 minutes. So yeah, we'll wait a little bit for that. I can see everything that's happening. I see it's creating 3 nodes, but I think I only need just one. I tried to edit that, but seems I was in the wrong place. Cool. So the cluster is created, but I see it has too many resources. I'm gonna go ahead and try and see what I did wrong here. Oh, because I selected zones, went ahead and created it in 3. Because I said region, it created it in 3 zones. Let's wait for this just a little bit. Cool. So my cluster is not consuming too many resources. So what I want to do now is connect to my cluster. GCP has this command that I can just put in my terminal. Cool. And I can see my cluster from my local machine. Just gonna use this tool. Okay, and yeah. Cool. It's my cluster there. Cool. Now back to documentation. Okay, cool. So I need to choose a name for the agent, register the agent with GitLab, and install the agent in my cluster. Okay. We start with the first step, choosing a name for the agent. So the agent uses a YAML file for configuration. We need a configuration file. If I want to use Git flow. If you want to also use CI/CD. Okay, cool. So I need to do this in the repo and give my agent a name. Where's my project? So I need to create a file. New directory, actually. Cool. And then in the directory, I need to create a config.yaml. Yeah, I need to create a file. To move this now. Cool. And for GitOps, I need to this configuration reference. So I told how GitOps works. Yeah, so as we know, it uses the pull-based method as opposed to push-based. And yeah, this is what I need. Just want to double check if clicking on it took me. Okay, it does navigate there to the page. So paste this. So what I need to update, it's going to go in the default namespace, so I don't need to specify that. And I need to add my project URL. Change this other stuff. Yeah. It's cool. Cool. And then I need to second register the agent of GitLab. If only these instructions were sequential. So this is what I need to do now. I need to register the agent of GitLab, and I need to go to infrastructure Kubernetes and then connect a cluster. So with my project, infrastructure Kubernetes. I need to connect a cluster, and I should see it here. Okay, there we go. And I am going to register the agent. Cool. And then it says GitLab generate an access token for the agent. And I need to store this token somewhere. But I'm going to delete the cluster anyways after I'm done with this. So I don't need to install it, secure it anyway. And then I need to install the agent in my cluster and to update the agent to a newer version if I need to. Okay, cool. And then I need to copy the command under the recommended installation methods. And then you need it when you use the one-line installation method to install the agent in your cluster. Cool. Which is what I'm going to do, which is this portion here of the token, which I won't be able to access. Is there anything else that I think I want to see here? No. Cool. Copy that command. Go ahead and paste it. Now I'm going to run it. Cool. It's installing the agent. Cool. So it says it's created the GitLab agent namespace. So I can check this a number of ways. I can check it directly in GCP. This tool. Interested in. Cool. The GitLab agent namespace. So yeah, my cluster now has an agent. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and do a deployment. I need to refresh this. to check if it is connected. Okay, cool. It has connected. Okay, that's just a link to my config file. Yeah, I can see that it's connected under activity here. Cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a deployment file. Just an image that's the Docker image I've been using to learn Kubernetes. Some services. Of course, there are other ways to do this. But just want to check if my agent is working. Cool. So this is deploying this app here, named app from this image, and it should have, I should see one instance of this app. I use lens to check. It's creating. Oh, cool. There we go. App has been created. What I'm gonna do is increase my replicas. I'm gonna increase, let's say people are loving my fictional app. And now I need 4 instances to cope with traffic. I know you can do auto scaling policies. Down manually. Cool. So I should have 4 instances of app running. Let's just see if that happens here. Although ideally I should be able to see all of this in GitLab, or at least getting a notification that it's happening. Because right now when I do a deployment, I can't really see whether what I'm committing is actually happening. So there we go. I've installed, I've created a cluster, installed the agent, done a dummy deployment. I'll show you what the app is. It's just a red screen, but yeah, basically it's working. Yeah. So yeah, I've created a cluster, installed the agent, and I've done a deployment and increased it, and yeah, everything works.